everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, to end up all of our subscription box everything, I'm on my own. Bree has flittered away with her creepy box to play with everything there. And I am going to show you the last one I have right now to show you because BoxyCharm isn't here yet. So when that gets here, hopefully I'll be able to post that for you. But in the meanwhile, we have Morphe Me. So if you're interested in seeing what comes in a Morphe Me subscription bag, stay tuned. So as you can see, this is how they come. Now I have a couple things to show you here today. I've been receiving Morphe Me, and this is their brush one. They have a new lip one, and God, they have a lip one and something else I can't remember. It's all through Live Glam. But I've been receiving this brush one now for probably, I think, about 6 months or so. And if I remember correctly, it's $19.99 a month, I think, and I will put all the information down below in the description box in case you're interested. This is not an affiliate. I'm not affiliated with Morphe. I have no affiliate codes with them or anything. Morphe has no idea who I am. So, but there's been a lot of talk lately about the quality of Morphe brushes. And it just so happens that, you know, I wanted to talk from, rather than come on and just start talking about it just to talk about it, I wanted to talk from a standpoint of experience, because since I've not only I've purchased many Morphe brushes on my own, I also receive them purchased in the subscription bag. And I've had some brushes that have done beautifully, and I've had others that have not. Those that have not, Morphe through Live Glam sent me, I'm not sure what's in here, but they sent me a replacement, as far as I know, of some brushes that failed. And I will show you, I will try and find the original brush I received to show you what it looks like and show you what it looked like when it's brand new. So you can see for yourself. And remember, none of these brushes I'm going to show you, the used ones that I've used, are older than 6 months old. Many of them are newer than that. And excuse, you know, they're not all going to be clean because I used some of them today. But first off, let's start off with my June Morphe Me. These bags are really very secure. One thing I do like, I will say about the Morphe Me, is that every month you get anywhere from, the least amount of brushes I've received I think was 3, and the most I've received is 6. And oh, and just to show you real quick, we're not going to go back forever, I'm not going to show you all of them, but these are 2 that I received. 2, I think there were 3 in this one. This was, I believe, April. This is the Rose Gold collection. This is 2 of the brushes I received, which is R10, this one here. And you can see I haven't used it yet. And R8. So those are 2. And then the other one I received from this collection, hang on, I just had it here because I was using it. Well, anyways, I don't know. But those are 2 of, I think there were, like I said, 3 in this one. I don't know where the other one's at. I've been using it. But, so anyways, in my experience, I will tell you right off the bat, I've noticed that out of the brushes of Morphe's I've used, that the ones that are in the higher end collections of theirs, meaning like this Rose Gold, the Gunmetal, in other words, the more expensive brushes of what they have, I've noticed that they tend to hold up a little bit better than, say, the M series. The M series is what I've noticed I've had the most issue with. And like I said, I'll show you the difference. But let's get into June's real quick and see what we got for June. Now, every month you do get a card that tells you all the brushes that you're going to receive and what they're for. And speak of the devil, this month we've got the M series. So let's see what we've got here. We have 4 brushes for June. And we're going to start with this big, huge, looks like a like a stamping brush. This is the M444. And you can see it's very wide, very compact, and very short bristles on this one. And it says this is the Deluxe Definition Blender. Okay, the next one we're going to go to is the M518, which they call the Crease Fluff. Okay, so that's M518. The next one is, I've never seen one this small before. This is the M498, the Duo Lash Fan. Look how tiny that little sucker is. Holy cow, it's small. I mean, to give you a reference, there's my thumb. This almost, I've seen people like use it to highlight their brow bone here. They don't specifically say what they would use it for, but that's what I've seen people use this little itty bitty one for. And then lastly, we have the M460, which is the flat contour. Real soft. Now, I will tell you, in my experience in working with Morphe brushes, and I've been using Morphe brushes since I placed my first order with Morphe, which is going back probably, I would say, 2 years now. I've noticed that these here, the light colored bristles, meaning the natural bristles, well, the dark ones aren't, you know, always, they're synthetic on some of them too. They also have badger brushes and stuff, but in my experience, these tend to really fray a lot. Like, let me give you an example of comparing one. And again, this is brand new, this one here on this side. This one here, oh, okay, this is the other one. Remember I said there were more from the rose gold? Coincidentally, I just happened to pick it up. There it is. So that's the other one from the rose gold collection. And this is R37. This brush, since that was the rose gold, that means this was, let's see, the gunmetal was May, so this was April. So I received this brush in April. Now, I have probably only used this brush twice since then, because I have other blending brushes that I like the shape of better. And if you look, let me give you let's see, we need a dark background. Let me use this is horrible, but if you look at the bristles of this, you'll notice how it doesn't hold its shape very well. See how on some sides it's narrow, other sides it's really flared out on one side, and the other side still remains that narrow shape. And I've also noticed that these bristles, let me show you another one. This is the M516. Let me put on a dark background. Now, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that, but see how the bristles they're very uneven and they're flared out and frayed, and just, in my personal experience in using these brushes, I've just noticed that the lighter ones here tend to really have, they just don't hold their shape. I mean, I can show you, hang on here, let's put the rose gold, okay, there's the rose gold. I don't want to get mixed up here. Let me get several. Oh, and here's another rose gold one that came with I guess it came with two. This is the R40, so here's another one that came in April, and you can see I've used this one. So both of these rose golds came with these two in April. There might have even been another one, I don't know. But I'm not sure if you can see, but the hairs start to do this. They start to flare out and really fray out, and, like, you know, they just don't hold their shape real well, in my experience. Now, this is the rose gold. I've noticed that the rose gold collection, in using them, seems to retain their shape a little bit better than this M series. So let me get a few more here. Let's get more M series and see. Okay, now here is an example of some. These are all from the M series, okay? Because these are the ones I've had the most problem with. Now, hopefully you can see these three here that have lighter bristles on them. compared to these two that are the dark bristles. What I want you to pay attention to is the fact that the dark bristled ones, well, the bristles have poofed out. You know, they're not, this one still has retained its shape because I don't use this one very much at all. But this one that I use for blending a lot, it's poofed out, but it hasn't gone, it doesn't look like frayed, almost like if your hair gets split ends and it, you know, goes. That's my experience with what happens with the white brushes. If you can see the shape of them. Oh God, I wish I had a dark background. Sorry to use this, but this is, well, here, let's use the Morphe bag. Maybe you can see it better. But you see how the white bristles are, you know, they get frayed out and really like split on the ends and stuff. Well, in my experience, what happens when they get like this is they get really hard. I mean, like for instance, this brush, which is the M516, I won't use this one at all. And the reason why is because it is so frayed. Come on. The bristles are so frayed on it, and not only does it not have any shape, so it's really difficult to work with, but it's so rough on the eye, and even on my cheek, it just feels, it's not comfortable rubbing this on your delicate eye area, you know. So anyways, that's just been, you know, my experience. Here's another one, the M517. This one has retained its shape a little bit better than that other one, but again, you'll notice that the bristles, they tend to fray out. They get, you know, really, that's the best way I can explain it. They fray out and they get very rough on the ends, and they're just not comfortable to work with. But again, I have only had this experience so far with the M series. So let's take a look, just for the heck of it here, at the rose gold series that I have. Here's 3 of them I have. Now, the center one here that has the duo fiber brushes on it, I have not used that one very much. So, you know, it's retained its shape because it hasn't been used and washed much. But even like this one over here, which is the R37, I use this brush a lot. But I also use this one, which is the R40, quite a bit. But you'll notice that, like, for instance, even this one here, like the brush, this one still feels fairly smooth. But this one over here, is the 37, is starting to get that really frayed, you know, see how it is like fraying out on the edges? And so clearly, you know, it happens with the rose gold set too. Now I have several of the gunmetal collection. I haven't had it happen with any of the gunmetal brushes I have so far, but I will say that I've had it happen to the M series a lot. You're going to see this brush, because this is a replacement brush that they sent me, I know for a fact. This is one of my favorite brushes to not only contour with, but to blend and everything, the cheek out. I absolutely love this brush, but I'll tell you, it did not hold its shape at all. So let's move on to my replacement brushes. I will tell you one really nice thing about the Morphe Me subscription service that, you know, I really haven't experienced with other subscription services, but I really haven't been in a position where I've had to either. But I will say this, is that I can't remember how this came about. I think I posted something on social media talking about how my brushes had frayed really bad. They contacted me immediately and asked for the names of the brushes, the numbers that were on them, and they asked for pictures. That's what really got me. Because I thought to myself, I thought, you know what, we're not dealing with Tom Ford brushes here. And if I bought a Tom Ford brush that went bad, and I called Nordstrom and said, hey, this brush went bad, they'd send me a replacement. They wouldn't ask for proof of it. So I was a little, you know, I can understand that, you know, companies, especially in this day and age where finances are so short for people. There's a lot of people out there trying to pull scams on companies, but I was a little bit thrown off by that, considering the fact that the brushes that I needed replaced, they contacted me and offered to replace them, remember? But the brushes I needed replaced were from the M series. They're cheap brushes. So I was a little thrown off by that, but I was at the same time pleasantly surprised that they offered to replace them. So it was kind of a dichotomy, you know? You feel real nice about the fact that they're willing to replace the brushes, but at the same time you feel insulted that they're asking for proof. You know what I mean? Okay, so here's how they came, wrapped up in here. And they sent me another card here, so I assume they sent me this card because this is the one that they were replacing. Oh, that's right. So let me find this other, hang on, I want to find a couple other brushes to show you. Okay, another thing I wanted to show you real quick before we move on to showing you the difference between them is I'd like to show you a couple of their small brushes that I purchased. And again, it's interesting because every one of the brushes I've had a problem with from Morphe is not, you know, like for instance, this is the rose gold here. This is the M series. They're both the light brushes though. I don't have, like for instance, this is one of my favorite brushes here, and this does not have a number on it, which kills me, but I believe it's from the Gunmetal collection. It's a blending brush, and you see I use this brush. You would not believe how much I use this brush, and look at it. The bristles are still soft. The brush is, for the most part, it's always had kind of a little lean to it, but it maintains its shape. It's very nice, it's smooth, it's soft. The end of the bristles still feel very soft. They don't have that abrasive feel to them. This is one of the first brushes I purchased from Morphe. Whereas these two here, and again from the Rose Gold series and from the M series, I hardly ever use these brushes at all. And you'll see why. Okay, now I hope you can see that, like this real small one right here, it's not only lost several bristles out of it that were originally with it, but the bristles that are in it, oh my god, they are so incredibly hard. Now I wanted this for real small detail work under the eye. This is the M515. This is a brush I actually purchased myself. And then this one from the Rose Gold series is R41. And I kind of wanted this one to lay down product and this to buff it out. But I'm telling you, this is not only lost bristles, but the bristles that are in it, this feels like sandpaper. This feels like you're being poked with 1,000 little needles. This one is a little bit softer than this one. Actually, it's quite a bit softer. But again, it still has gotten rough compared to where it was to begin with. And you can see, especially that small one, I mean, you can see how many bristles it's lost, hopefully, because you can see the ferrule around it. Let me try and get a head-on view. It's going to be kind of hard, but especially since it's such a tiny brush. But it has literally lost a whole bunch of what came in it. And it didn't come with much to begin with in there because it's a small detail brush. So, I've really had, but again, and here's another from the Rose Gold series that I purchased. And, there, there went one right there. There went a hair right there. It loses hairs, but it's not dumping at such a fast rate that you're like, oh my god, my brush is going to disappear. And this one has maintained its softness. And you can still see it still has density to it. So, and here's another from the Rose Gold. This is R42. A paddle brush, the dual, see the got powder in it right now because you can see I use this brush. But again, it's still maintained softness to it, and it's maintained enough bristles. It's not dumping so much that, it's going to be a problem. But when it comes to these are the problem. I really think Morphe needs to look into using a different bristle for these brushes, because I truly honestly believe that these are the problem. Every single one of these brushes that I have, now these have the white bristles as well, but I haven't used these yet, so I can't tell you what they're going to do. I can tell you that when I get them at first, they're so soft, they feel so lovely, and then after you use them and wash them the first time, then all of a sudden you're looking at it going, and you know, I know how to wash brushes. I mean, I've been doing it a long time. I know how to take care of my brushes. For some reason, these ones that have the white bristles on them, literally, I noticed a change after the first wash. I noticed that they didn't come back to, you know, whereas the ones with the darker bristles on them, you know, they resumed their shape after I washed them, because I wash every brush before I use it. So even though I haven't used this one very much, I've used it a couple times and I've washed it several. And you can see it has still maintained its shape. It's still nice, and this is an M series brush. So clearly it's not the M series as a whole that's the problem. I believe the problem is whatever they're using, whatever material they're using in these light brushes. Now, I will say on that note, see, here's another one that just dumped out of this brush I'm going to show you right now, and that is a darker haired, see, I don't even know if you can see that, but it's not just, you know, on the whole, I haven't had a big problem with their darker bristle brushes. These have been a real problem, the ones that have the light bristles on them for me. You know, I have a few that have maintained, but they're starting, I don't know if you can see this, but see all the bristles coming off the sides here and here, and see how the brush is awkward in shape. It's like oblong and then flat here on this side. You know, like this one here, it's starting to lose its shape already, and I've only used this a few times. It's flaring out at the top up here, it's flaring out at the sides and has little bristles sticking out. And here's another one with the light bristles that's doing the same thing. I'm hoping you guys can see this. Do you see the bristles that are sticking out here and, you know, all around the brush? It's like what happens with these lighter bristled brushes is they bloom is what they do. That's the best way I can describe it. Whatever material they're using on these brushes, when the first time you wash it, they bloom. And, you know, it's okay for a brush to bloom so that, you know, it releases all the product that's in it, so long as you can get it back to its resumed shape. These not only do not go back to their original shape, they continue to bloom. Each time you wash them, they bloom, they bloom, they bloom, and each time they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're to the point where, like for instance with this one, this is my M302. This is one I use all the time. Now I don't care that this one's bloomed, because I use this as an overall. I always have this as a clean brush and use this overall to blend everything, just to make sure my edges are all blended. But see how bloomed out this brush is? And if you look online at the M502, I'll try and find a picture of it, what it looks like originally. You're going to notice the size difference. You will with any of these, but I really honestly believe that Morphe's problem with their brushes is right here. It's not, you know, I haven't had brushes fall apart. I haven't had the ferrules come separated, and trust me, I've had it happen on a lot of other brushes. I mean, I've got Tarte brushes here. I've got a Stilo brush here that they just ferrule came right undone from the glue. I have not had that problem. I haven't had problems with the what do you call these? And they're not duo fiber, but they're, well, maybe they're considered that. I don't know. Maybe these are, you know, I don't know what you consider this where it's, you know, gradiated in the brush. I haven't had problems with any of those. Even the blending brush. I mean, as you can see, this is a gradiated one that's a blending brush. This is the R35. And see how it's maintained its shape. See, as I turn it, you don't see hairs springing out everywhere on it. See that? It's maintained its shape. Whereas, let me see which one was easy to see. Whereas if I show you this one right next to it, that's a blending brush, you can see it's lost its shape. The bristles are fraying out on the side. And what really bothers me is not just the fact that they lose their shape when they bloom out like this. So if you've got a, you know, real nice tapered blending brush, I mean, here, I'll show you one of my favorites. Hang on. Now, to give you an example, this is a brush I use every single day, and this is the Luxie 231 small tapered blending brush. Okay, you can see it's dirty. I used it today. Okay, now if you look as I spin this, this is a light-haired bristle brush, but you see how it doesn't have bristles coming off of it from top, not coming off, but sprigging out from top to bottom. And when you look at it, it's still, you know, it still comes up to a tapered point. See that? I mean, that's what I want from a brush, you know, because when I buy a tapered blending brush, it's because I want it to be able to get into those areas. Well, when your tapered blending brush all of a sudden blooms out and loses its shape, it's pretty difficult to deal with. But that's not even the thing that bothers me the most, because you know, I can make do if I have to. What bothers me the most is the texture of the bristles when they bloom. The texture of the bristles goes from, you know, like this one I've never used. I'm telling you, these are soft. And that's probably one of the reasons, other than cost, that they use these bristles, because they genuinely feel really nice and soft when they're new. But the problem is when you wash them and you start to use them and the bristles start to bloom and it starts to lose its shape, it literally turns into pincushion feeling. It's not pleasant. And so I find I end up with a whole slug of Morphe brushes that I have that are sitting in my brush container because I won't use them. I mean, literally, and this one is the worst offender of the group. I mean, it's bad. You know, and that's a nice little brush. I'd love to have that to get that fine detail work under my eye, but it is actually physically painful. I really wish you guys could feel this. So that's my personal opinion where it comes to Morphe brushes. Again, I haven't had a problem with hardware, meaning, you know, the ferrules coming unglued, or, you know, I haven't had a problem with loads and loads of stuff dumping out. I have one brush here that I had that problem with, but, you know, that's to be expected. I mean, it happens sometimes, especially in mass manufacturing. And you do need to consider the fact that this M line, the M series line, is a very inexpensive line with Morphe. I mean, let's just face it, you know, you're gonna get what you pay for. It's just that simple. That's the way the world works. You know, you're not gonna get a Wayne Goss brush and expect that for $6 you're gonna get that kind of quality. It's just not gonna happen. But are they, you know, are these good brushes for the money? Yes, they're good value for the money you pay for them. I do think that their larger brushes are a little bit on the high end price-wise. I've also noticed that the Morphe Me, typically you don't get the large brushes, which has been a big disappointment. This is the largest brush I received so far in my Morphe Me collection. I've received a lot of small face brushes, you know, a lot of, I mean, you know, I don't do much with these soft contour brushes. I just don't use them. But, you know, and here's another contour brush I got. So I've got two of them, one from the Rose Gold now and one from the M series. You know, I'd rather use a brush like this for contouring. But, you know, you get a lot of what I would call the medium-sized. And, you know, like I said, this last month I got all the, you know, small to medium size. So one thing I do wish Morphe Me would increase is I wish they would increase adding more of their large face brushes here and there, you know, at least one every 4 or 5 months, because, you know, that's the point of having the collection. The subscription is so you can build your collection. Well, if I'm getting all small brushes and all small and medium face brushes, I'm not getting a full collection of brushes. So, you know, and sure, you can supplement and purchase your own to add to that. But people who are, you know, maybe buying this service are doing it for the affordability and maybe don't have that option. So I'd like to see Morphe, Live Glam, whoever makes the decisions, I'd like to see them increase the amount of face brushes they're putting. Large, like powder brushes and such. Okay, so anyways, that is my issue, I believe, with Morphe. that, you know, across the board, I've had problems with the light bristled brushes. And of course, I just got another one, you know, just to show you, brand new. This has never been used. You just saw me open it. Again, this is the M518. So that's what it looks like right now. Okay, now you can see, you know, it's pretty even all the way around. You're not seeing bristles that are, you know, sprigged out everywhere. It's very soft in texture. So we'll see. I'll use this for a month or two, and then I'll give you a follow-up review, and I can show you then versus now, because I'll take a clip from today showing you what the brush looks like, and then we'll put it in, you know, in another month or two, and we'll see how this brush develops, and you know, and I'll keep track of how much I've washed it and so on and so forth. But I really think this is where their problem is at, is with these lighter bristles. I think they need to change their supplier or what have you, whoever they're getting them from, because they just don't hold up good. Okay, so now let's get to the replacement that Morphe Me sent me. These are the 3 brushes. Now, when they responded to my tweet about having brushes that I was having problems with, they asked me to send them a list of brushes, like I said, and pictures of those brushes, which I did. Now it turns out, because I forget which ones I bought myself and which ones, you know, I received through the Morphe Me. Well, of course, they're only going to replace what I received through Morphe Me. And these are the 3 out of all the ones I was having problems with that I received through Morphe Me. And you'll notice 2 of them, again, are these light bristled brushes. Look at the powder coming out of that. And this one here, I absolutely loved this brush. Out of every brush I've used with Morphe, I have never had any loose bristles but this one. This one was dumped, not only, now you'll be able to see when I open the new one, the difference in it, but this brush, the minute I washed it, bloomed. Just absolutely. I put a brush guard over it trying to get it back in shape. Nothing worked. I re-washed it, had it wet, put another brush guard over it, put it upside down, left it in the brush guard for several days. It would not retain its shape at all. It just bloomed out huge. Maybe that's the way this brush is supposed to be. I don't know, but that's what it did. But that didn't bother me so much because, you know, I mean, I can still work with it. What bothered me was every time I was using it, I was ending up with, you know, you saw me pick up one just a minute ago that came out of this brush right here. So let's open this up and see what, let's take a look at, I want to keep the old ones apart from the new ones, and I will show you old and new. Okay, let's start off with the M516. Now this one here is the worst offender out of the lot. Okay, now this one's new. And I'm going to push this one together just like I am this one, just to see if there's any stragglers. Okay, now this one here is the older one, and this is the brand new one. Now, I want to tell you something too. This brush here, I've never used this brush. All I did was wash it. The reason I've never used it is because the minute I washed it, it bloomed out, lost its shape, and turned into abrasive bristles. And the minute I touched it to my eye, I was like, no way. Not only did I have no control over the shape of it, but it was miserable feeling. Okay. There. Now again, this is the new one, this is the older one. That's never been used, only washed. And you know, you can, I don't know about you guys, but I can clearly see a difference. This one had, the new one, the angle cut of it makes it taper and go to a high point here. This one here bloomed out so much that while it's still angled, it doesn't come to a point anymore. You see that? I mean, it's angled and comes to a point, but not, you know, a high peak point like it should. So there's a replacement on that one, and you're seeing what it looks like. Now let's go to the next one, which is the M517, and here's the new one. New one again on the same side, and old one. And again, this is another brush that I haven't used I've washed but haven't used it. All I did was wash it, and it just bloomed out so much. And I'm not sure if you can see the hairs sprigging out all over it, but you can certainly see the size difference of them. See that? Okay, now on to the next one. This is the M528, and here's the new one. Now, again, I want to be real clear about this. I understand that, you know, brushes, the bristles in them are going to bloom. Especially, you know, if you put them, you know, if you've got brush guards on them after they wash, it helps keep their shape better and stuff. And I expect that they're going to fluff out and bloom out. But I don't expect that it should happen upon first washing, at least not to this degree. And you can clearly, I mean, I can see, and I'm not even, you know, I can see the difference here. Like this one here, let's fluff them up, both of them together. Woo, okay. You can clearly see one versus the other, how the size difference is in them. This one's bloomed out so much that it's actually become shorter than this one is. And again, it's not just the blooming that I have a problem with, it's how when they do bloom, all the bristles start to come out from the bottom. The brush loses its, you know, the shape of the brush completely loses its structure because, you know, if you think about it, this whole outside band of bristles here, it's not just the ferrule and how the ferrule's pinched, obviously has a huge part of it, but this whole outside band of bristles, think of it as a hug, you know. Those bristles are set in place to hug the rest of it, to offer structure. So, you know, this is the, you know, what's the term I should use? These are the girders. You know, think of a building, you know, they're building, they got girders going up, and they got up from the foundation, they've got steel reinforced, you know, that's what these outside bristles are. And when those outside bristles collapse, the whole inside of the brush goes with it. And that's what happens with these lighter bristle brushes. That's what I've noticed the most. Okay, so now let's move on to the last one, which is the M551. This is the only dark bristled brush I've had a problem with. And here's the new one. And you'll notice right away the difference here. Okay, now you can see that this one is not only a considerably different shape, but it's a considerably different color. It's almost as if, and remember, this brush is no more than like 4 months old at most. And I don't wash my big face brushes as often as my eye brushes. I wash a lot more than I do my big face brushes. So for, you know, every 2 times I wash a face brush, an eye brush, I wash God, I've been saying wash so much I can't even say it. For every 2 times I wash an eye brush, I wash this one once. But you can see the difference. I mean, let me put them in front of my face since they're dark. Not only is the shape considerably different, you see how much it bloomed out? Look at that. I mean, it is literally twice the width it once was. I mean, this is the best way I can show you, and that side's even more bleached out. It's like what happened when you wash it is it's almost as if it changes the actual integrity of the bristles. Clearly these are bleached, or clearly these are dyed. I wasn't aware of that because I don't know. I mean, these must be synthetic. I haven't looked up to see whether they are or not, but they must be, because if they were natural, we wouldn't be looking at this clearly. And of course, you wouldn't, if they were natural, you probably wouldn't be in the price point we are either. But you can see the difference in these two. I mean, it's significant. This one's bloomed out so much, and it's lost the total integrity of the shape that was designed for. It's got bristles poking clear out to here on it. It sheds bristles as well, like crazy. And look at that width shot. Look at the difference in width between them. And there you go. There's, put them absolutely, there we go. See the difference in that? So, you know, it's, again, I have not had a big problem with the darker bristled brushes from Morphe. This is the only one that I've truly had a problem with, and I had a big problem with it. It not only, you know, dumps bristles every time I use it, but it's completely lost its shape. So I'm thrilled to have another one because this is my all-time favorite brush for this exact reason. I can only hope that this will keep its shape. But, you know, if you want to try out Morphe brushes, I would highly suggest it. I mean, you know, unless you've got a ton of money, you know, if you've got a lot of money, then go to Beautylish and get yourself some Wayne Goss brushes, and then you don't have to worry about it. And speaking of that, I have another, his new eye set in another haul coming up pretty soon. But anyways, you know, if you want to invest the money, and you've got the money to invest, or, you know, Beautylish has the option of a 3-payment plan, go do that, because you're not going to get luxury brushes anywhere else for that option unless you use your credit card and make payments on a credit card. You know, there's no other luxury brush company that I'm aware of that has that option. And of course, you have that option solely through Beautylish, because Beautylish makes that available to their customers, which is incredible. But if you're looking for affordable brushes that you can use and not worry about losing, not worry about getting, you know, trashed, or, you know, throwing them in the garbage a year from now or what have you, this is a great option. I mean, they are, on the whole, they are a good value. And when I say a good value, I mean for how much you're paying. You know, when you look at whether or not something's a good value, you have to look at what you're getting versus the investment you're putting in to get it. If it were me personally, I would tend to stick with the brushes that are either this duo looking here, the gradiated brushes, or the pure black ones, just because of the fact that, in my personal opinion, that, you know, I haven't had as much of an issue with these. Except for that one face brush, I haven't had an issue with any of the eye brushes. This has been where my problem's been. So, you know, if anybody from Morphe happens to be watching this, or from Morphe Me, and anybody that knows them or whatever, you know, take it into consideration, please, because I think you've got a great thing going on here. There's no doubt about it, but I really think you need to consider changing your supplier of these particular hair, of these bristles, because they just don't hold their structure. They bloom, and once they bloom, they just become abrasive. And, you know, nobody wants to be coasting something over their eye that's abrasive. It's just, I know I don't. So anyway, so that is my opinion of not only the Morphe Me subscription service, but of Morphe brushes in general. You know, I think if you are interested in trying out Morphe brushes, I think Morphe Me is an incredible way to go. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk about Live Glam and who runs Live Glam, and people that think they're scamming and this, that, and the other thing. Okay, I'm going to be real clear about this on that. My only interest in dealing with Live Glam is this right here, okay? So long as I'm getting a subscription that I pay for, so long as I'm not having any other problems, then I'm good. You know, obviously the morals and integrity of a business owner matter a great deal to me, as you guys have heard me talk about it many times in reference to Jeffree Star and now other people that he's been collaborating with, and the effects I think it's had on them. You know, I think that so long as they keep their nose clean and, you know, there's not a bunch of problems out there I'm starting to hear about, then I'm a happy camper. And I think it's a really great option if you want to try Morphe brushes for 20 bucks a month. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not selling their subscription service, okay? And even if I were affiliated I wouldn't sit here and sell it to you. I'm just telling you my personal experience with it. I've considered getting this for my daughter because she has very few, a very, very small amount of brushes. I mean, we're talking maybe 4 or 5. And this is a great thing for 20 bucks to build your brush collection. Because even if you go to Morphe's website and you look at some of their brushes, you know, can you get 3 eye brushes for 20 bucks? Yeah, typically about 21, 22 bucks for the blenders and stuff. But here's the great thing about this service is months like this. Months where you score and you get 6. You know, months like this one here, I got 4, and they're, you know, 2 good solid brushes here, a little tiny fan guy, and a blender brush. So I mean, you know, is this a $20 value? Hell yeah, it's a $20 value. Even if you think they're the shittiest brushes on the market, that's still a $20 value, no matter how you chalk it up. So I think it's great for, you know, I think if you want to try Morphe brushes, try Morphe Me. You can cancel it anytime. You know, if you get a bag and you think, oh, this isn't for me, I don't care for these, go online and cancel it. What are you out to lose? You're out 20 bucks. Well, you know what? If you go to Morphe's website, you can maybe get 3 eye brushes for 20, 21, 22 bucks. You know, you'll be lucky if you can get 1 or 2 face brushes for that. So I think it's a great deal. I think you're getting a good deal for the value you're getting. I haven't received a bag yet where I've been like, that wasn't worth 20 bucks. I've been real happy with the value I've received in terms of the retail value of the brushes. I'm just disappointed with the lighter bristle brushes. That's it. So I think it's great. But anyways, I will put all the information down below for Morphe Me in case you guys are interested in trying it out. And if you do try it out, let me know what you think of them. I'd be real curious to see what your experience is and if you have one similar to me. And also know that it's a wonderful thing to know. And I know firsthand, you just saw me open these, that if you receive brushes through Morphe Me you are not happy with, Live Glam steps right up. They are right there and they take care of it. Like I said, I was real pleased with that they reached out to me, contacted me, and made the offer to replace the brushes, even though I was a little bit insulted by needing to send pictures. But I did it. Anyway, so that's it for this review of Morphe Me and Morphe brushes. I will have more to come in the future. I not only have, let's see here, I think I just placed an order with Morphe. Wink, wink, wink. And I think I ordered maybe 10 more brushes from them. I ordered some of their smaller detail brushes. I ordered a couple eyeliner brushes. I ordered a couple eyebrow brushes, and I ordered several lip brushes because I want to try their really small detail brushes, because the experience I had with this little guy was so disappointing that I wanted to see if their little brushes held up better than this. So you will see those coming in a future video, and it just so happens that will be the Jaclyn Hill X Morphe Brushes palette, because I did order quite a few of them, and I'm very fortunate that I sacrificed, though. I stood up all night long because I missed every new release, and I reached out to Morphe and I reached out to Jaclyn Hill months in advance, weeks in advance, and asked them if they would take my credit card and just be done with it, because I honest to God, I just don't have time to waste waiting for websites and stuff. But I really wanted to get these because my daughter really wanted one. I wanted to try one, and I wanted to have some to give away to you guys. So I stayed up all night long, my old ass, all night long. And when like 7:50 came, man, I'm telling you, I was hitting that website until it came up. And I had their website up on my phone, I had their website up on my iPad, and I had their website up on my computer. Anything I could do to get on that website. So I placed 3 orders of 3 palettes each. So I have a treat for you guys coming. Hope wherever you're at in this world, you're doing wonderful. If you're having struggles, you're beating those suckers back. Don't ever give up. Persevere. Those are the people who win. Never give up. Never give in. Fight your way through whatever you have to fight. And remember, Doesn't matter if you like somebody in this world. I cannot stress enough. You don't have to agree with people. You don't have to necessarily like them. You don't have to want to be friends with them. But you know what? Our world is at a crisis right now. Not only with political things going on, government things going on, racial things going on. It's all building like this cauldron that's just sitting there steaming, and it's building. And if we, and our younger generations in particular, you guys have an enormous amount of power. You need to do everything within your beings to put that power to positive use in our world, because it's not going to be long. Once our baby boomer generation takes over, you guys are next. And you know, you got to be putting it out into the world what you want back from the world. Because this, oh, he was mean to me, so I'm going to treat him like shit, and she said something nasty to me, so I'm going to cat back at her. Women, start treating your fellow women with respect and love. Men, start giving a shit about your women. I don't care where you're at in the world, just remember, treat your fellow human beings with love and respect. Much love to you.